3 days ago, in the confines of a humble college dorm room, an encounter took place that left one young student with a chilling realization: nowhere is safe, not even in the very room he called home. As he pens down his story, fear gnaws at him. Every sound, every shadow, feels like a harbinger of what's to come. 1 month before the true horror began, the student left a group math session around 3 p.m. He felt an unusual tension, a heavy weight that seemed to warn him of impending dread. As he reached his dorm room, he found his door ajar. His heart sank. He remembered double-checking the lock. Inside, a college employee, whom we'll call R, was rifling through the student's belongings, claiming he was investigating reports of eerie, unexplainable screams coming from the room. R brushed it off as squeaky pipes, promising a plumber would inspect soon. As soon as R left, an overwhelming dread filled the room. While checking his closet, an ear-splitting screech echoed, like metal grinding on metal, followed by a heavy thump from the bathroom. Silence followed, as if the room itself was waiting. Jay, the roommate, banged on the door, accusing him of disturbing the peace. But just as the student began to explain, the screeching started again, this time louder. The noise abruptly stopped, but heavy, deliberate footsteps began to echo. Jay's eyes went wide before he fled, leaving the student alone with the sound. Later, the police showed up, tipped off by Jay's frantic claims. They dismissed the noise as a prank or drunken mishap, giving a stern warning before leaving. But the dread didn't leave. It only grew, simmering just below the surface, waiting to strike. Then, 3 days ago, the true horror came to light. The thumping grew louder, closer, stopping just behind him as he studied. Suddenly, he felt something brush his shoulder. He turned, but saw nothing until his gaze landed on a dark corner. The creature loomed before him, humanoid yet grotesquely twisted, cloaked in a dark, roiling robe. Its skin was an unnatural gray, its arms ended in claws, and its eyes black with crimson pupils locked onto him as its terrible smile widened. As it drew closer, the student found himself paralyzed, unable to scream or run. The only thing he could think of was El Cucuy, the boogeyman he'd read about. The monster reached out to him, its clawed hand inches from his face, until Jay burst through the door, screaming, startling the creature into retreat. Shaken, he found Jay, who suggested finding an exorcist. Soon, a pair of spiritual healers arrived, blessing the dorm and burning sage to ward off the creature. Even now, the student watches every shadow and listens to every sound, praying that El Cucuy will never return. Even as the blessing draws to a close, the student knows one thing with certainty: El Cucuy knows where he lives now, and it only takes one invitation for it to return.